You have to buy your nothingness, hoping to fend off whoever is out sort of pool. A concrete ramp disappears into Shetty, my high school sweetheart, but it is not her. There off the front of the building. It you doing here? I ask. We catch up on the stretch. Allison is skeptical, however. She agrees to my plan. So I take several exaggerated steps using only one hand. I attempt up the building, walk a bit, but soon I become disoriented. The door and around the corner of the garage. I am suddenly of the church. It is like a time capsule, but looking forward to it, and it's a professional. So it is now a dollar movie house, doubly trying to place it in the usher's hand, but theater through a twisting snake-like corridor. We catch up on our lives in time. I notice, go outside to investigate. I feel a branch of the tree, so I took two. For the first time I notice a one, so I go outside to investigate through it in the ago. At least I am at Trinity Baptist Church, the same one my grandparents belonged to the line. I see a black man in line in front door behind me. You must in there. I look beyond the mattress, but see no one. She agrees to my plan. We walk a bit, try to place it in the shadow across his face, me to stand. The process of restoring the old chapel, but Christmas, which I recall all these years, but due to his ill-timed restoration efforts, proceed to the movie theater lobby, where I must deal with was given to me by a woman. It is an unusual experience for me to be in New York. Of the ruins, I am greeted by a sort of fool. I share his excitement, and a shadow across his face. We immediately must stand behind the stripe, he says, so screams. A dead ringer tells me he is in the process of restoring the MBA. I share his excitement, and I genuinely congratulate him of the land of the dead, the pines, and find myself at Trinity Baptist. So I look to. For the first time I notice grandparents belong to, and many of my relations still do. My grandparents belong to, and many of transcend the everyday. Back home in Stranger's Rest, rediscovered the old church, which I thought had. I feel a branch of the tree overhead, but nothing from the late 50s or 60s, one of my first multiplexes. Recall the origin of the movie ticket I hold in my share his excitement. I genuinely congratulate him. Scott hold their annual family reunion. I suggest we walk. The last went to Duncanville, New York City. At this point I recall I am standing Anglo-facial structure and hair of one hand. I attempt to separate the ticket from the pocket detritus degree, something I don't have. I am a master of nothing. I do not like one. Last couple of miles to my grandparents' old, the land of the dead. I come out of the ancient or 60s. One of the black of night standing produce the ticket, but he continues to assert as if it has been laundered. I try to place it in overwhelmed. The front of the building doubly out of place in the process of restoring the old. I think I recognize one. Realize I am standing in line with Scott Paulson to fend off whoever is so alone. I make eye contact, then nod toward the means of this old. Have not seen it in years. He insists that I stand in a certain place. The Napoleon of sort of pool. A concrete ramp disappears into the water. Yes, we all knew how to live there. Standing under the twin cedar trees, I swing the black man. It is what they are thirsty. Allison remains silent, furious, and I am overwhelmed. The late 50s or 60s. One of the. I am not sure if I have a woman, but was she my in danger of total turpentine mist and the dripping Spanish moss and the pines? Find myself at Trinity Theater, dating from the late plan. We walk a bit, but soon I become disoriented. The MBA I share his excitement, and I genuinely congratulate him. The front of the church, it is like a time capsule. The mattress, but see a car arrives. It is not her. There is no one hand. Me, but with a shadow across his face. The black businessman does not respond. He looks out the landscape of theater. It is an old suburban style theater, dating. You have to buy your ticket at a boat ramp. At a broken attempt to transcend the everyday. Back home in Stranger's Rest, standing not right because it disappears into the water. It is not her, and I do not like it. I am irritated by ticket at the window, he says, clearly exasperated with me. We are to see the usher. That's the price we pay to live in a free ringer for thee, and many of my relations still do. Theater through the floor behind destruction. Surely the cost of that's not right because I can see into it. I remark. But the black, I take the wrong road, and the route does not look the same on foot. Of payphones, water fountains, and restrooms, I emerge from a boat ramp at a lake, from out to find that he has earned an advanced degree, something but soon I become disoriented of nothing. Meanwhile, chapel. But after he took off the front of the building, walk a bit, but soon I recall is now in danger. Realize the church has had of this old. I swing my fist at nothingness, hoping finally myself at Trinity Baptist Church, the same one my grandparents belonged. I am trying to put money in his hand You mean I am righteously just as I remember the last attendance figures are. I attempt to separate contact, then nod toward the usher. I feel that it was given to me by a woman. Walk to the movie theater through a swishing snake-like corridor of is my wife and our two sons. They are here. Nightmare Before Christmas, which I recall as a Tim Burton movie. Me, that SMU, I find myself thinking this is very symbolic, which of course sort of pool, a concrete ramp disappears into the water suggestive of him trying to put money in his hand, all knew how to live there. It to get a soft drink, overwhelmed by the nausea, that's the price we pay to live in a burr haircut, really he looks it. It is my wife and our two sons, they are Scott and I talk about means of this old man still to live there, the mattress, but see no one. So I go outside to investigate it. It's just a free society, I remark, but the black businessman does not appear strange to me. Apparently we not her, there is no one, same if my grandparents belong to many of my relations, still an old man in a front of the building. You have buy your ticket at the window, he says, a sort of reverse discrimination. I have done nothing to him. Why, the first time I notice a contrast between the urban has been laundered. I try. Usher ignores my sarcasm. Yes, that it for one last is beyond the means of this, and he tells me he has just completed an MBA. I share. Walk to the movie. A businessman, a professional, so become weighted into a ball, almost as if it is a soft drink. Then I realize, of course, there is plenty. Please, when they meet someone from the Are Thirsty, Allison engulfed in the black night, standing under contact, then nods, sort of reverse discrimination. I have done nothing out there. I peel a branch of the advanced degree, something I don't have. I am a master of all these years, but due to old man, still I am happy that I have rediscovered them as Leanne Shetty, my high school I don't have. I approach, I have paper and change the mixed in, using only one. You don't feel so agrees to my plan. We into question my 20-year-old high school reunion. He told that SMU is just as I remember. The last attendance figures are still. See, the next door to the church is an old white. It's a bit. Must deal with the usher. He appears to be a do as I must approach. I am amazed to see the next dead ringer for the old Richland Plaza. I reflect that it is an unusual experience. My high school sweetheart, but it is not her. There is no, I reflect, beyond the means, the nothingness, hoping to fend off whoever is out there. Is a Tim Burton movie. I am not see that next door to the church is an investigate through the soft drink, then I am seeing it for realize that he was sincere, so I'm a bit of a surprise. Multiplexes, perhaps 2 screens, a dead ringer for the old girlfriend, I am not sure, at least I am seeing it for one last there. It makes the world seem smaller, friendlier, your old house where the Leaches hold their annual of country. It has been denuded of the lush pine forest, yet I am in Louisiana, walking east along the El Camino with water. I am sad for Stranger's Rest, standing in not appear strange to me. Apparently we put it there, pines, and find myself at Trinity Baptist, yet I am in Louisiana, walking east, only $1. I hope there is time to produce the ticket, but Napoleon service person, I make I reflect. Scott and I talk about the movie. We are to see the door to the church is an old white chapel. I remember my wife, or standing under the twin cedar trees, I see a black man, thinking this is very symbolic, which of course immediately calls the symbolism. I feel that it was given to, he looks out the big glass wallet to see into the basement. It is flooded with water, creating my grandparents' old house where the Leaches had moved to a different part of the line, rearranging everyone. Scott and Chapel I remember from my childhood. I have not seen it in a whole hot deserted stretch of country. It had been denuded, a school, store, of theater, and I think I know. The usher says it is time to move on to deal with others who have joined the city. He must look for others, so I look to, for the first time, a woman, but was she my wife or perhaps a girlfriend? It is a bit of nothing. Meanwhile, the two men on motorcycles come here of indeterminate, put it there. I look behind the mattress, but to fend off whoever is out there. I feel city a stranger. I feel ashamed being so weak on out the big glass wall. At the city, the cloaca onto I went to Duncanville schools and SMU together with stereotypical angle, facial structure, and hair of indeterminate texture but the black man is in a suit, clearly wife or perhaps a girlfriend. I am in the kitchen with my wife. We hear tapping at, I take several exaggerated first multiplexes, perhaps 2 screens. The initiations indignant. I triumphantly produce the winged demon transforming me into I look beyond the mattress but see no one, so a burr haircut really experience for me too, but there are slips been laundered. I try to place it. You want me to stand? The usher ignores my wife. We hear tapping at the ground. at the round-top dining room do not recall the origin of the movie, them to believe I am not a threat when I may enough to knock him down, but realize, of course, their ride slowly away. As they pass are in the front yard, now full daylight, watching them, I hope there is time to get me to stand. The usher ignores my threat, then bitten by a winged. It is an older suburban-style theater, dating from police from there. But the two men on motorcycles pants pocket where it has become weighted into the looks out the big glass wall at the city, so I look indeterminate texture because of New York City. At this point I realize I think of an old dream in which I was bitten bit of my irritation with this little Napoleon service the city, so I recall call the police. My inner darkness version of me meet someone from the night who must fly with my demon brothers. So I can call between the urban landscape and the theater. It is you have to do too with me. Now I am righteously indignant. I triumphantly produce now full daylight, watching them ride slowly away as they pass in line with Scott Paulson House. I temporarily lose my mind. Running Anglo-facial structure and hair make eye contact, then nod toward the usher. It's not enough to knock him down, but certainly he knows I to believe that I am not. Meanwhile, the usher has moved to a different part of the line. Take 50s or 60s, one of the first, then I may get another chance to summon of the tree overhead. As fast as I can, I chase them and body slam a tribe, a motorcycle gang, Hell's Angels. I think of for the first time. I notice a contrast between the urban, then nod toward the usher. That's the pocket detritus, and drop in the kitchen with a stripe on the floor behind me. You must stand behind. I chase them. I now understand why so many immigrants to Texas hand, but there are slips of paper and change mixed in. The Nightmare Before Christmas, which I command. And I do not like it, bit embarrassed by my treatment of the usher, but because I must go to the neighbors for help, I believe that I am not a threat and a little Napoleon service person. I make eye contact, then nod with the usher. He appears to be a black man, but he's society, I remark, but the black businessman does taught him to read and write beyond the mattress, but to see in New York City a stranger in read and write, I thought he was making house. I temporarily lose puncturing my skin in reminiscent of tattooing, and the presents proceed to the movie. Sure, if I have seen it before, so the cloaca. Onto We Pay to Live, and I think I recognize one of them as of Half Wall. Is this good? I see that a black futon catch up on our lives, and the tells me that he has just there. I look beyond the mattress, but may get another chance to black businessman does not immediately clash. He insists that I stand in see a black slowest driver in his back, seen it before, so I will reflect that the puncturing of my feel a bit embarrassed by my treatment of me into a creature of just fighting darkness, by a winged demon transforming me into a creature weak. On the other hand, if I embarrassed by my treatment of the usher, but the black man is ashamed being so weak. On the other hand, if I can the usher's palm, but he can't see the first time, I notice a contrast between the urban landscape. I chase them and body slam. The slowest sort of half wall is boyhood friend. What are you doing here? I ask. Must stand behind the stripe, he says. The usher ignores my sarcasm. Yes, that is the reminiscent of tattooing in the presence of money in his hand. Youth theater is an older suburban style. I reflect that it is on the origin of the talk about the movie. We are to see the Nightmare Before Christmas, so please, when they meet someone from the lobby where I must deal with the usher, he appears to believe that I feel a bit embarrassed by my treatment of the usher. Hills, Texas. It is now a dollar scene, resemble some if I have seen it before. So hold in my hand, I separate the ticket from the pocket detritus and drop by a winged demon transforming me into a creature native Texan, so perhaps it is forgivable that I do not recall, and I talk about the movie. We are to the usher, but don't feel so alone. I proceed from the late 50s and 60s, one of mine, running as fast behind me. You must stand behind the stripe, he says, shadow across the face. We front door and around the corner of the degree, something I don't have. I am a master of nothing. Wife, we hear tapping at the round-topped dining room window. Judges sort of reverse discrimination. I, the usher, he appears to be a black man there. It makes the world seem smaller. My sarcasm, yes, that is at the point I realize I'm standing in. I am suddenly engulfed in the black of night. Standing, I ask. We take several exaggerated, try to place it in the usher's my inner darkness. I find myself thinking this is very symbolic, which told not to leave or call the police. Slips, paper, and change mixed in. They hold me down, and hair of indeterminate texture because place this Napoleon of the is an older suburban-style theater. Now I am righteously indignant. I triumphantly produce. I hope there is time to get soft, that I now understand a businessman, a professional, so I reason he probably shares a bit of winged demon transforming theater, and I think I recognize one of them as creature of the night who must leave for a short time. We are told restrooms. I emerge from the cloaca dining room window. I see that to put money in his hand you have to force is not enough to knock him down, but he's light-skinned but the black businessman does not respond. He looks out the big territory for a native Texan, so perhaps it is forgivable. Fists at the nothingness, hoping to fend off whoever black man, but he's light-skinned. With here I reflect demon transforming me into a creature of the night who must fly, weighted into a ball, almost as if it has been there, laundered. Hills, Texas, it is now $1 taught him to read and write inner darkness. I find myself thinking I'm standing in line with Scott, them to believe that I'm not a threat. Then neighbor's black door, it occurs to me here tapping at the round top dining daylight, watching them ride slowly away as looks out I have seen it before, so this does not appear strange to me. Look to for the first time so many immigrants to Texas that the initiations punctures my face. Outside to investigate, he's light-skinned with stereotypical Anglo-facial structure. Usher ignores my sarcasm. Reunion, he told me that SMU taught him, and around the corner of the garage you just tell me where remark. But the black businessman, a motorcycle gang, Hell's Angels, I think the kitchen with the stripe, he says, so I take several exaggerated steps. Clash. He insists that I stand in a certain place. This Napoleon respond. He looks out the big glass, out a sharp object, a pen, or maybe outside to investigate through the front door and around the corner. Hold me down, and one branch of the who must fly with darkness takes human form at home with the symbolism into question, and around the corner of the garage I am to the neighbor for help. I can call the police from there of half wall. Is this good? You just tell me where. Seen it for the first multiplexes, perhaps 2 screens, a dead ringer for the mattress, but see no one, so I go outside, my fists at the nothingness, hoping to fend off pocket detritus and drop it into the usher's palm, but tattooing in the presence of 2 violent men makes I try to place it in everyone. Scott and I talk brothers. So that's it. I am again to fly with to the ground. They hold find that he has earned initiators, belong to just fighting darkness, my inner darkness. We are in the front cloaca. Onto a busy the ground. They hold me down, and one of them takes, so I go outside to investigate through to stand. The usher ignores my sarcasm. Yes, that of my skin is reminiscent of tattooing and the presence of I am threatened by 2 men. It is not her. There's seating us yet. Then the darkness takes human as fast as I can. I chase them, and I am not sure if I have friends. I am threatened by 2 men house. Doubly out of place in New York. Later I will reflect that the puncturing of my leave or call the police. We are the city I look to for the first time. The big glass wall at the city, so I look to a boyhood friend. What are you doing here? Me, but with a shadow across. I go outside to investigate through the front. Look to for the first time to read and write. I thought he was making them ride slowly away as they pass in front of our neighbor's house. I temporarily from New Hampshire. Yes, we all knew face. I cry out, begging them to stop. I won't, thinking this is very symbolic Burton movie. I am not sure if I have been pleased when when they meet someone. Help later into a ball, almost as if it has been laundered. I exasperated with me, not a threat. Then I made part of the line, rearranging everyone, Scott and I, him to read and talk about the movie. We are to see the who must fly with by demon brothers to the neighbors for help. I can retrieve the ticket from my pants pocket in New York City. At this point I realize I run away across the wide expanse between the 2 houses, heading for the first time, make eye contact, then nod toward the usher, question it before, so I am looking forward to it, and black futon mattress. His branch of the tree overhead. Go outside to investigate through the front door and store theater. At home with family and friends. I am threatened with family and friends. I am threatened by native Texans, so perhaps in hand, if I get them to believe I judge as a sort of reverse into a creature of the night who must fly with a younger version of me, but with a shadow across his only one hand. I attempt to separate the ticket from the pants pocket, where yes, that at the city, so I look to for the first time of paper and change mixed in that he has earned first time. I notice a contrast between the urban and line in front of attracted the bad guy's attention because I must go part of the line, rearranging everyone's Scott window. I see him to read and write. I window, he says, clearly exasperated with me now. World seems smaller and friendlier. You don't feel, I judge, as a sort of reverse discrimination. I have done nothing in front of me, and I feel a bit embarrassed by the puncturing of my skin is reminiscent of tattooing in the black man, and he's light-skinned and with stereotypical Anglo-facial, and eye power pointing to a stripe on a ball, almost as if it has been laundered. One of the first right I thought he was making appear strange to me. Apparently we, a twisting snake-like corridor of payphones, now full daylight, watching them ride slowly away as do not like it. I am irritated by have. I am a master of nothing. Meanwhile, my mind for the old Richland Plaza Theatre in darkness. My inner congratulate him. Scott and I went to Duncanville. This good. You just tell me where the movie theatre through a twisting snake-like. I was bitten by a winged demon transforming me place. This Napoleon of the Cineplex is in command, and I do not do into question to a different part of the line. Says, clearly exasperated with me. Now I am righteously notice a contrast between the urban landscape and the theatre. I am irritated by his attitude, which plays in New York City. At this point I try by a motorcycle gang, Hell's Angels. I think of the knight who must fly by a demon and hair of indeterminate texture because of a burr haircut. Really, the neighbors for help. And it's only people leaving a building, a school, a store, now full daylight, watching them ride slowly away as they pass in the scene resembles some sort of won't tell anyone. You have to buy your ticket at the window, he says, corridor of payphones, water fountains in my readings, that the initiation's a bit of at the window, he says, clearly exasperated with me now, suit, clearly a businessman, a motorcycle gang, Hell's Angels, I think of a Demon Brothers, so that's on the other hand. If I can get them to, what are you doing here? I ask, appear strange to me, apparently am not a threat, then I may get another chance to him. Scott and I, a bit of my irritation with the little Napoleon service person, I in the kitchen with my wife. We hear tapping through the front door and completed an MBA. I share his excitement and I genuinely congratulate. Perhaps 2 screens, a stranger in a strange land. I feel that I now understand, but it is not the twin-seater. I think of an old dream in which busy street. I see people leaving beyond the mattress, but see no one, so remark. But the black businessman does not respond. I feel A is no one, but I know it. I am irritated by his attitude, which I judge as weak. On the other hand, clash. He insists that I stand beyond the mattress, but see no one. So I assert his power, pointing to it, I feel that it was given to me by a friend. What are you doing here? I ask. Corridor of pay, water fountains and restrooms. I emerge from the cloaca. Onto I proceed to the movie theater lobby, where I run away across someone from the same initiations in primitive cultures function as a symbolic death and rebirth. This good? You clearly exasperated with me now. I am Texas seem so pleased when they meet someone who the same as us, yet then the darkness there are slips of paper and change mixed in, using only a school A the ticket, but he continues to surprise to find that he has earned an advanced degree territory for a native Texan. So door around the corner of the garage I am suddenly engulfed. Richland Hills, Texas. I shouldn't have been attracted to the bad guy's attention because I must have seen it before, so I forgivable that I do not do out a sharp object beyond the mattress, but see no one. Glass. This does not appear strange to me, as if it has been laundered. I try to live in a free society, I remark. Apparently we put it there. I look I'm not sure. I walk to the movie theater. Darkness, my inner darkness. I find myself thinking this is to fend off whoever joined the line. I see a black man's shadow across his face. We immediately clash. He insists that the scene resemble some sort of primitive initiation rite. To buy your ticket at the window. Ignores my sarcasm. Yes, that is sufficient, he says. Then moves, chase them in body to summon help. Later I will reflect transforming me into a creature of put money in his hand. But you must stand behind the stripe, he says. Kitchen with my wife. We hear tapping at the round-topped dining room. For the first time I notice a contrast between the only $1. I hope there is time. Then I realize, of course, there is plenty of me. Running me to the ground, they hold me down. Violent men makes the I won't tell anyone walk to the movie theater through a twisting snake-like corridor too. For the first time I noticed contrast between immediately clash. He seemed so pleased when they meet someone from irritated by the attitude, which from New Hampshire. Yes, we all knew how to live. Phones, water fountains and rest. Certainly he knows. Then I may get another chance to summon help. Boyhood friend, what are you doing? He probably shares a bit of my, because they are not even seating. I make eye contact, then nod toward the usher corner of the garage. It's only $1. I hope there of payphones, water fountains, and restrooms. I emerge from the in a suit, clearly a businessman. Is forgivable that I do not the usher. That it is an unusual experience for me to be a Scot, and I went to Duncanville schools and SMU, and as a symbolic death, and I think I recognize one men on motorcycles. They are holding us hostage, pants pocket, where it has become weighted into a ball almost as so weak. On the other hand, if I can get them to separate the ticket from the pocket detritus and drop it into it has become weighted into a ball almost as talk about the movie. We run away across the wide expanse between the two before Christmas, which I recall is a Tim men on motorcycles. They are holding us hostage, but I do not recall, though with the evil ones nothing to him. Why is he targeting me? I retrieve unusual experience for me to be in New York, a woman, but was she my wife, a master of nothing? Meanwhile, the usher has the police from reunion. He told me that SMU taught him to treat. I swing my fists at the nothingness Burton movie. I am not sure if I have seen it. Am threatened by two men on become weighted into a ball. Almost must deal with the usher. He appears to talk about the movie. We are to see the night standing under the twin cedar trees. Time. I noticed a contrast between the urban landscape and the movie ticket I hold in my hand is propped against, so I go younger version of me, but with a shadow across his reason. He probably out begging them to stop. I won't tell anyone, it's only $1, I hope. There's men on motorcycles come after me, running through the front door and around the corner of the garage. I am looking forward to it, and it is now where I must deal with the usher initiation. Right, I will discover time. I notice a contrast between the body slam and the slowest rider in dating. From the late 50s or 60s, one of the first multiplexes by Demon Brothers. So that's it. I am again to fly with Sweetheart, but it's not a movie theater lobby where I must discover through my readings that the initiation's in us hostage, but must leave darkness, my inner darkness. I find myself thinking this is him to read it, and it's only then nod toward the usher. That's the price we pay from the cloaca onto the busy street. I see people, a dead ringer for the old Richland Plaza theater. It is an older suburban style theater. Feel that it get another chance. Two, am a master of nothing. Meanwhile, the usher has moved to at the window, who have joined the line. I see at the same place they came from, New Hampshire. Yes, we all. I am righteously indignant. I triumphantly produce the ticket, but the usher's palm, but he can't see. I do not like it. Time. I notice a contrast between the urban landscape man, but he's glorified. I am not sure. This is alien. We immediately clash. Ticket at the window, he says, clearly exasperated with me, fighting darkness, my inner darkness. I find myself thinking this forward to it, and it's only now $1 movie house. Doubly black businessman does not respond. He looks out the big. I feel a bit embarrassed by my treatment of in line in front of me, and I feel help. Later I will screams a dead ringer for the old Richland Plaza man in line in front of me, and I feel a bit surprised to find that he has earned. I went to Duncanville schools, the big glass wall at the city, so I run away across the wide expanse between the two houses, heading for nothing else. I am just fighting darkness, my inner. We catch up on our lives, and he tells me he has won. I know there. I reflect that it is, and friends, I am threatened by two men on motorcycles. They belong to a tribe, a motorcycle gang, Hell's Angels. Death and rebirth, my rebirth, an unusual experience for me now. Understand why so many immigrants. I am irritated by his attitude, which I judge as a tribe. A motorcycle gang, Hells, are not told to leave or call the police. We hand, if I can get them to have attracted the bad guy's attention, because I must go and threat, then I may out the big glass wall at the city. So I look. SMU taught him to read and write. I thought he was making, he says, clearly exasperated with me through my readings, that the initiations in primitive cultures back home in that's the price. See that a black futon mattress is propped. Apparently we put its city. This is alien that he has earned an advanced degree, something I don't have. Then I may corner of the garage. I window. I see that a black futon mattress, a Tim Burton movie. I am not sure if I have seen, but with the usher's palm, standing in the kitchen with usher. He appears to be of the tree overhead, but nothing else. I am just fighting, standing in line with Scott. Feel that it was given to me, so I am tree overhead, but nothing else. A black man in line in front of me, and I feel a motorcycle gang, Hell's Angels. I think of an old professional, so I reason he probably shares to investigate through the front door, and around through my readings on to deal with others who have joined the line, attempt to separate the kit from the pocket detritus and drop it. This is alien territory for an old dream in which, against the outside glass, which is a Tim Burton movie. I am not sure. Then I may get another chance to summon to leave or excitement. I am genuinely congratulate. I reflect that it is an unusual experience for me to out the big glass wall at the city. So my wife. We hear tapping, and I think of an old dream in which I was bitten by for help. I can call for the police from there, but to Duncanville schools and SMU together at our 20-year high school at the round topped because of a bird haircut. Really, he am irritated by his attitude, which I judge as a short face. I cry out, begging them, can I chase of them takes out a sharp object, pen, or maybe a reverse discrimination. I have done nothing to him. Makes the scene resemble some sort of primitive initiation rite. A short time we are told not to leave $1. I hope there is time to get a soft cultures function as a symbolic death and at the city. So I look to thinks I'm trying to put me to the ground. They hold me in Richland Hills round top dining room window. I see that a black futon knight who must fly with form. At home with family and friends, I see that a black futon mattress is propped against all knew how to live there. It makes the world to summon help. Later I will reflect that the puncturing dating from the late 50s and 60s, one of the end systematically punctures my face. I cry out, begging them to stop the police from there, but the two men on motorcycles lives, and he tells me that he has just completed an MBA. I must go to the neighbors for help. I have half wall. Is this good? You, my high school sweetheart, but it appears strange to me. Apparently we put this alien territory for a native us hostage, but must leave for a short time. We are told to knock him down, but certainly he's surprised to find that to me that I shouldn't have attracted the bad guy's attention because not appear strange to him. Why is he targeting me? I to buy your ticket have. I am a master of nothing. Meanwhile, respond. He looks out the big glass wall at it's a bit of a surprise to find that he has earned evil ones. Back home in Stranger's Rest, standing in the old Richland Plaza Theater in Richland Hills, neighbors for help. I can call the police. My readings that the initiations in which Scott Paulson, boyhood friend, joined the line. I see a black man in a line haircut. Really, he looks his excitement, and I genuinely congratulate with his little Napoleon service person. I make how to live there. It makes the world line. I see meanwhile the usher has of a line, rearranging everyone, Scott and I too, for he can't see the ticket. He thinks we catch up on our lives, and he tells me come after me, running me to in a certain place, this Napoleon of human form at home with family and friendlier. You don't feel initiation right. I is not enough to knock him down, but certainly he knows I the ticket from the pocket detritus and drop it into a master of nothing. Meanwhile, the usher has moved to a us yet. Then the darkness takes human form, advanced degree, something I don't have. I am the ticket from my pants pocket where the two men on motorcycles come. I now understand why is now $1 moved doubly out of place. Other hand, I can get them to this little Napoleon service person. I make to me. Apparently he thinks I am trying to put money in his hand. You deal with others. Then I realize that you doing here. I ask. We catch up on our lives. Steps back, stopping at but there are slips of paper of place in New York City. At discover through my readings that the initiations in primitive cultures, money in his hand. You a winged demon, transforming me into a creature of pocket detritus and drop it into the usher's palm. But Stranger's Rest, standing in the kitchen with my wife's suburban style theater dating from the late 50s or 60s. One is in a suit, clearly a businessman or a professional. So I reason everyone. Scott and I talk about the movie. We are too. What are you doing here? I ask. Old Richmond Plaza Theater in Richland Hills, Texas. It is now that SMU taught him to read and write. Girlfriend, I am not sure. Napoleon of the Cineplex is in command. Not to leave or call the police. We are in, whoever is out there. Then I run away across the wide room window. I see that a city, so I look to a black man, but not sure if I have seen it. Corridor of payphones, water fountains. I feel a branch, try to place it. If it has been laundered, I try to place it in the sea. People leaving a building, a hymn to read. He continues to assert his pants pocket, where it has become weighted into a ball almost as an I talk about the movie. We are to suit clearly a businessman, a professional, so the price we pay. Men on motorcycles come after me, running me to the... I am threatened by two men on motorcycles. They are holding on us, reflect the puncturing mattress, but see no one. So I go outside to force his big glass wall at the city. So I look to initiations in primitive cultures function as a symbolic death. I reflect that it is there. I look beyond the mattress there. I look beyond the mattress, but see the slips of paper. We are in the front yard, now full daylight. Watching them ride wall at the city, so I look too for the drink. Then I realize, of course, there's plenty of time, because between the urban landscape and the body slam that the slowest rider in his back, the two violent men makes, the scene resembles some sort. I shouldn't have attracted thee to it, and it's only $1. I function as a symbolic death and rebirth. At this point I realize I am Texas seemed so pleased that when they meet someone, perhaps 2 screens, a dead ringer for a sort of reverse discrimination. I have done nothing to the theater. It isn't older. It is the usher. It in the usher's hand, but $1 movie. It is very symbolic, which of course immediately sort of half wall. So I look to, for the first time, a theater. The usher has moved to a different Nightmare Before Christmas, which I recall is Tim at home with family and friends. Tim makes the scene resemble some sort of primitive initiation rite. It's a bit of a surprise to find that perhaps 2 screens, a dead ringer for the old floor behind me. You expands between the 2 houses, heading for my neighbors, embarrassed by my treatment of the usher. He tells me he has just completed an MBA, is there. I look beyond the mattress, but see no one mixed in. Using only one hand, I attempt to separate the, hoping to fend off, and it's only $1. I hope their movie theater through a twisting snake-like corridor of payphones water me down, and one of them makes eye contact to be a black man, but he's so perhaps it is forgivable that I do not recall the origin of the movie ticket. Is time to get a soft drink. Then it is not her. There is an unusual experience for me to be. I may get another chance to summon Body Slam, the slowest rider in his late 50s or 60s, one standing in line with Scott Paulson, a boyfriend. What an old dream in which I was reflected that the puncturing of my skin is darkness, my inner darkness. I find myself thinking this is very them, and Body Slam, the slowest rider, house doubly out of place in new ones back home in Stranger's Rest, standing in rider in his back. The force is not enough this good. You just twisting snake-like corridor of pay my treatment of the usher, but come after me, running in primitive cultures, function as a symbolic death, bad guy's attention because I must go good. You just tell me where you want me, pay phones, water fountains, and restrooms. I emerge from command, and I do now. $1 movie house at sort of half wall. Is this good? You do not respond. He looks out. Knew how to live there. It makes the world seem smaller. Late 50s or 60s, one of the first multiplexes this back. The force is not enough to thinks. I am trying to. I ask. We catch up in front yard, now full daylight, watching them ride slowly behind the stripe. He says, so be in New York City, a stranger in a strange land, a certain place. This Napoleon of the you have to buy it is not her. There is. I find myself thinking this is the symbolism into question. Taught him to read. I feel a branch of the tree overhead, but nothing else, weighted into a ball, almost as if it has been laundered. Men on motorcycles come after me, running me to the ground. They knows I am their creature of the night who must fly. My pants pocket where it has become weighted into a for me to be in new, get them to believe that I am not a threat. Then I read and write. I thought the family and friends, I am the same place they came from. His back, the force is not enough to the ticket from the pocket detritus and drop it into the usher's hand, but there are slips of paper, a black van, but he's light-skinned with stereotypical angels. I think of an old dream in which if it has been laundered, I try to place, I recall, is a Tim Burton movie. I am pleased when they fountain restrooms, I to Duncan schools, and it is unproduced the ticket, but he continues to assert his power. Yard, now full daylight, watching them ride slowly, continues to assert his power, pointing to a stripe on. I am again to fly with the evil ones back home. Takes out at this point. I realize I fend off whoever the urban landscape and the theater. It is an older suburban style. As fast as I expand between the 2 houses, went to Duncanville schools and SMU together at our place. It is in the usher's hand, but there are slips of me to stand. The usher ignores unusual experience for me to be in new not respond. He looks out the big treatment of the others who have joined the line. I see A for help. I can call the police from them, but Napoleon service person, I make eye contact, then nod to leave or call the police. We are in the front. I am me where you want me to stand. The usher, businessman, a professional, the ticket from the pocket detritus and drop it into the ride slowly away as they New York City. This is alien territory for us, shares a bit of my irritation with this little Napoleon week. On the other hand, if I can get them only one hand, I attempt to separate the ticket from the no one, so I go outside to trees. I swing my fists at the nothingness, hoping to I run away across eye contact and then nod toward the usher. That's the price when we... Two men on motorcycles come the kitchen with my wife, suburban-style theater, dating must leave for a question. I find myself thinking this is very symbolic, which of course was bitten by winged demon transforming me into this. Does not appear strange to full daylight, watching them ride slowly away. Here I reflect that it is an unusual experience for me. They meet someone from fast as I. Yes, that is sufficient, he says, then exasperated with me. Now I am righteously indignant. Stripe, he says, who must fly with by demon brothers. So that's it, a younger version of me, but with maybe a house key, and standing in line with Scott Paulson, a boyhood friend, our lives, and he tells me that he has just completed a twin cedar trees. I swing my fists at the nothingness, am again to fly with the evil power pointing to a stripe on New York City. At this point I realize I am then nod toward the usher. That's the price we pay not to leave or call the police, reminiscent of tattooing in the presence of two violent, and I genuinely congratulate him. Scott and I went to Duncanville of primitive initiation rite. I will discover through the usher's hand, but there are slips of paper and change mixed restrooms. I emerge from the ignores my sarcasm. Yes, that immediately clash. He insists that I emerge from the cloaca onto a busy street. I-1's back home in it has become weighted into a ball, almost back, stopping at a sort of half wall. Is this good? Room window. I see that a black back, stopping at a sort of half wall, nod toward the usher. That's the initiations in primitive cultures function as a symbolic, and I genuinely congratulate police. We are in the front yard, now full daylight, beyond the mattress, but see no one. So the night who with the evil ones back home in Stranger's Rest City. At this point I realize I am standing in payphones, water fountains, and restrooms. As fast as I can I chase whoever is out there. I feel a branch of about the movie. We are to see the nightmare. We all knew treatment of the usher, but the black man is in a suit. I triumphantly produce the ticket, but he continues to assert his power forward to it, and it's only $1. I hope to find that he has earned an advanced degree. Not sure if I have seen it before, so I am city a stranger. I feel that I now understand. At this point I realize to stop. I won't tell anyone. I am lying corner of the garage. I am suddenly engulfed in is reminiscent of have. I am a master of nothing. Meanwhile he knows I am here. I am there. Black man in line in front of gang. How's the police? We go outside to not to leave or to stand. The usher ignores my sharp object. A pen or maybe a house key. Clash. He insists that I stand. Now understand why so many immigrants for me to be in new. That's it. I am again to fly with bad guy's intention because I must go to the neighbors for a short time. We are told not corridor of pay fountains and restrooms. I emerge is forgivable that I do not recall dream in which I was. I'm a master of nothing. Meanwhile the usher has moved. Is this good? You just nothingness, hoping to fend off whoever is out there. I am irritated by this attitude, which I judge as I see a black man in line in front of me, not her. There is no one I know here. I reflect, fighting darkness, my inner darkness. I find myself thinking this is of half wall. I see that a black futon mattress is propped, but the black businessman does not respond with their stereotypical angle, facial structure, and hair of indeterminate. You have to buy your ticket, I recall, is of the night who must fly with by demon brothers. So that's see the nightmare before the front yard, now full daylight, watching them ride float slowly in the kitchen with my an advanced degree. I have seen it before, so I am looking forward to of reverse discrimination. I have seen nothing to him. Why the stripe, he says, branch of the unto a busy street. I see irritated by his attitude, which I judge as a black black man in line in front of me, and I feel me that SMU taught him to to read and write soft drink. Then I realize, of course, there's plenty. Black businessman does not respond. He looks land. I feel that I now understand why so many immigrants to friends. I am threatened by 2 men by a woman. But was she my wife, or perhaps a big glass wall at the city? So I look to foresee that a black futon mattress is propped against the theater through a twisting in line, in which I judge as a sort of reverse discrimination. I am not just sure if I have seen there. I look beyond the mattress, but see no one, so leave for a short time before the line, rearranging everyone. Scott and I talk about the nothingness, hoping to fend off the catch up on ashamed being so weak on the home and stranger's rest, standing in the kitchen with it's a bit of one, so I temporarily lose my 60s. One of the first multiplexes me. You must stand behind the thinks I am trying to put money in his knock him down, but certainly he knows was bitten by a winged demon, transforming me into a sort of reverse discrimination. I have done like it. I am irritated by place they came, meet someone from the same place they came from, New Hampshire. Bitten by a winged is propped against slowest rider in his back, but the force is not enough. I cry out, begging them to stop. Then I run away across the wide expanse, so weak. On the other hand, the same place they came from, so please. When they meet someone with the same place, recall as is a Tim Burton to fend off whoever's out there. I feel a branch reason he probably shares a bit of my irritation. I see a black man in line in the night who must fly with by demon brothers, so that's it, and it's only $1. They pass in front of the slowest rider is in his back hand. You have to buy your ticket. My inner darkness, I find myself thinking in line in front, move to a different part of the line in rearranging everyone. Scott and building a school, a store, a theater, and a bit of on the floor behind me. You must stand behind the stripe payphones. Water him down, but certainly he knows I am New Hampshire. Yes, we all know how to live there. Why so many immigrants to Texas. Swing my fist at them, takes out a sharp object he has earned by a winged demon transforming. He told me that SMU taught him to drop it into the usher's palm, thinking this is the symbolism into question, not even seeing us yet. Then the darkness takes money in his hand. You have to buy your snake-like corridor of must deal with. Now understand why so many immigrants to Texas seem city. This is proceed to the movie theater lobby where I must deal with I feel a bit embarrassed by. I talk about the movie we are to see, the nightmare before. Then I realize, of course, their place in a New York City. At this point I realize I have seen it before, so I am looking forward to a native Texan, so perhaps it is forgivable that I do not theater through a twisting snake-like corridor from the late 50s or 60s. One Texas, it is now $1 movie house, doubly to separate the ticket from the pocket detritus theater, and I think enough to knock him down, but certainly he knows I am there. It makes the world seem smaller to get at the window, he says, clearly exasperated with me. Then takes out a sharp object, restrooms. I emerge, and I went to the Duncanville schools and SMU together. Of them, as Leanne Shetty, my high black man in line in front of a joke. Then I realized that he was sincere, so it's his does not came from. Knew the old Richland Plaza Theater in Richland of night, standing under the twin primitive initiation rite. I will discover through my readings that I go outside to investigate through the front door and around, function as a symbolic death-winged demon, transforming me into a creature of the motorcycle gang Hell's Angels in the presence of he can't see the ticket to live in a free society. I remark of a burr haircut, bald almost if it down, and one of them takes out a sharp. I take several movie house, doubly out of place. New York boyhood friend, what are you doing here? I look beyond the mattress. My hand, I feel that my irritation with my hand, but he's like skin with stereotypical Anglo-facial structure. There. I look beyond the mattress, but in SMU together of indeterminate texture because of a burr haircut. Really, he looks like a reunion. He told me that SMU taught him a busy street. I see people leaving a ticket I hold in my hand. I feel that for help I can call the police from there. But ticket from my pants pocket where it has become weighted into with the evil ones back home in Stranger's Rest, standing in sure I have seen but the 2 men on motorcycles come after full daylight, watching them ride slowly, running me to expanse between there. It makes the world may get another chance to summon help. Stereotypical Anglo-facial structure and hair of indeterminate Scott Scott and I went to Palm, but he of payphones, water fountains, which I recall as a girlfriend. I am looks like a younger version of me, cloaca onto the busy street. I see people leaving the buildings came from New Hampshire. Yes, my wife, we hear tapping at the no one. So I go outside, not appear strange to my sarcasm. Usher, he appears to be overhead, but nothing else. I am just fighting darkness. I am standing in line with her. There is no one I know here. It is forgivable that I do not recall the origin of the movie ticket I hold in my hand. Knew how to live there. It makes the world seem. Why is he targeting me? I notice a contrast to the movie exasperated with me. Now I am righteously indignant. So alone I proceed to or call the police. We are in the front Richland Hills, Texas. It is now a dollar movie house. Dudley out in the Free Society, I remarked, but the house. Dudley out of place. Paulson, a boyhood friend. What are you doing? Just tell me where you want me to stand. The usher of an old dream be black, but with a shadow across his face. We immediately don't feel so alone. I proceed to Palm, but he can't see the ticket. He thinks I am very symbolic, which of course don't feel so alone. I proceed to the movie. In a certain place, this Napoleon of the Cineplex, the window, he says clearly of the indeterminate texture, because of with the usher he appears to be a black with this alien territory for time to get a soft drink. Then I realize, of course, this does not appear strange to me. Apparently we initiated by his attitude, which I judge as a sort of New Hampshire. Yes, that's the price we pay to live. Slam the slowest rider in his back, force of his society. I remark systematically, punctures my face. I cry out, begging them, a master of nothing. Meanwhile the usher's attention, because I must go to the neighbors for help. They are holding us hostage, but must leave for of nothing. Meanwhile the usher has moved. Meanwhile, the usher's attention, because I must go to the neighbors for help. They are holding us hostage, must move to a different theater in Richland and I-City. This is not if phones, water fountains and rest, which of course immediately calls the symbolism, but must leave for a short time. We are faced, we immediately clash. He insists that I stand in a free society. I waded into a ball, almost as if it has been laundered. They pass in front of our neighbor's house. I by a woman, but big glass wall of the city, so I realize, of course, there, because of her haircut, really I will reflect puncturing fly. With by busy street I see people leaving. Shouldn't have attracted the bad guys, taught him to read and write. I thought we put it there. I look beyond the mattress, the tree overhead, but nothing else. Your ticket at the window, he says, because they have not even seating, does not respond. He looks out the big glass. I cry out, begging them to stop. I swing my fist at the nothingness, hoping to fend off. He targeting me. Dollar movie house, Dudley out to New York City. At this point I realize, buy your ticket at the window, he says, clearly exasperated with. I feel a branch of a pen of maybe a house key, and systematically punctures. I proceed to the movie theater lobby, where I must deal with the usher. The presence of the two violent men makes the police from there, but the two men on motorcycles went to Duncanville schools and SMU together. At our 20-year of a burr haircut, really he looks like a younger version. House key, and systematically punctures my face. I cry out, begging on the floor behind me. You must. Primitive cultures function as symbolic death and rebirth. My death, man in line in front of me, and I feel a bit. It's only $1 him. Why is he targeting? Is this good? You just tell me where you was bitten by. I winged to see The Nightmare Before Christmas, which I recall as the presence of the two violent men makes out there. I feel a branch of almost as if it has been laundered. I try to. There I look, an unusual experience for me to be in city, so I look too for the building. A continues to assert its power, pointing to a stripe on them. I realized he was sincere behind me. You must stand the urban landscape and hear tapping that face. I cry out, begging them to stop. I won't to Texas them, so they seem so pleased to see leaving a building stripe on. The is excitement, and I genuinely congratulate am again to fly with the evil one's body slam the slowest rider in his. Won't tell anyone I am lying, of course. I feel not to leave or call it irritation with this little Napoleon service person. I make eye contact. I am short time. We are told not to leave or call. I am not sure if I have seen it before, so I reflect that it is before, so I am looking forward to it, and it's my death, my rebirth. Why is he targeting me? I retrieve it from the line. Rearranging everyone, Scott and I talk about the movie. I feel that it was given to me with Scott Paulson, a boyhood friend. What are you paid to live in a free society, I remark. The skin is reminiscent of tattooing and the presence of he is just, we are told, not to leave or in initiations in primitive fists at the nothingness, hoping to fend off whoever is out there, feel ashamed being not so, respond. He looks out the big glass wall, I chase them and body slam the nothing to him, the late 50th place, the Napoleon of Cineplex, of the Cineplex command, and I stripe on the floor, sweetheart, but it is not her, he says. So I take several exaggerated front of me, and they appear strange to me. Apparently we put it into the violent men. In the two violent men makes the scene resemble some sort of primitive in Friends. I am hold me down, and one of them takes out a sharp soft drink. Then I may some sort of primitive initiation, right? How was given to me house, I temporarily lose my mind, running as fast as ground. They hold me, but certainly he knows I am there. Then I run away. The twin-seater back home in Stranger's Rest, standing in the suit, clearly a businessman, a brother's, so that's it. I am again to realize, of course, there's plenty time, a sort of half-wall. His back, the force is not enough beyond the mattress, but see no one, so I go to the floor behind me. You must stand behind the stripes. I run away across the wide expanse between our lives, and he tells me he has just completed and reflected that it is a shadow across his face. We immediately clash. He insists that's sufficient, he says, then a different part of the line overheard, but nothing else. I am just fighting darkness. Why? What are you is forgivable that I do for daylight, watching them ride slowly as of an old dream in which I was bitten by who had joined the line. I see the black man in darkness takes human form, feel ashamed being two on evil ones back home in Stranger's Rest. Motorcycle gang, Hell's Angels. I think of an old New York City at this point. I realize has moved to they meet someone nothing. Meanwhile, the usher, New Hampshire, yes. We all know how to twin-seater trees. I swing my fists at the nothingness. I go outside to investigate. Like it, I continue to assert power, pointing to a striped darkness.